Hello guys, it's the Artsy Gamer back for another video in our channel. Grab your teas and coffees and let's do this. Alright then guys, so of course it is the weekend and we'll be continuing our Let's Draw. So yesterday we drew a really lovely retro inspired Sonic the Hedgehog. I just added a little bit of a YouTube twist with the like sign there, but you may have just drawn the Sonic himself. So we are going to just continue by making this character lovely and blue. So we're just going to get set up in the studio and we're going to head there now and I'm going to give you some tips on how to colour this bad boy in. But actually before we move over, I do want to show you this. I did pick up this bad boy this morning and oh yes baby, we're going to take a deep dive into this sometime next week, so definitely stay tuned for that. I did a quick flick through and already I've seen some Crash related stuff there, so yes, hands down, we're going to have a great time looking through this sometime in the week. But here we go, grab your teas and coffees and we'll get going making that character blue. Okay guys, here we are. We have our lovely Sonic outlined in black, and like I said, I hope you have done that as well. And we're ready to colour this beautiful character in blue, as Sonic is a beautiful bright blue and we're going to make him shine today. And yeah, guys, before we begin, I hope you appreciate my new little setup here. It's not going to be every time, but I thought I would treat you to a little bit more of an arty feel, you know what I'm saying? No, it's only because I'm actually around my parents' house today, so you get a bit more of a luxury setup today, guys. So yeah, fill your boots. All right then, so we're going to get cracking on. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to press really hard on some areas that I want to add some darker shading, and that's pretty much the same of what I do with all my art. I get all the darker outlines done first with regards to the shading. Okay, so obviously I'm going to do a few bits and bobs, cut the film and, you know, crack on from there so you're not hanging around all day. So we're going to start with the spikes. All right then, and I'm just going to, here we go, really start to create some darker highlights just around the inner parts of the spikes. Okay, and I just start to get an outline first and then we'll colour them in. And we need to press really hard on these, okay? And we'll have one just cutting through there and around. All right, and now I've got these three just blob shapes. We're going to press really hard and colour them in, okay? I'll do one and then I will do the rest, cut the camera. You know what I'm saying, so you're not hanging around all day. I say cut the camera. We cut the film, but we can call it cut the camera. You know what I'm saying. Okay, so this is exactly what you need to be doing now, guys. So the blobs that we've made, these are the darker shades, and we're pressing really hard, and all will come into character when it's fully coloured in. Okay, because you might be thinking, why are we just doing like random blobs here? Okay, it all adds to part of the shading. Okay, and this is what we're doing now. So, of course, I'm just gonna cut the camera, guys, so you can get a feel of what it's like, but you're not hanging around all day. All right. Okay guys, so I've gone around the blobs that we made in a deep dark blue, and like I said, that's going to create the shaded areas. I am now moving on to the head, and as you can see, I've done another 3 blobs there, and these blobs can be kind of whatever shape you like, as long as they are highlighting and featuring the main parts of what you want to bring to life. Okay, so I've just kind of done, I don't know, like a saddle shape there, a little kind of triangle there, and a weird loopy weirdy triangle there, and again you're just going to colour them in nice and dark. So here I'm pressing really hard and we're just simply colouring in the blob you have made. As simple as that, guys, as simple as that. And like I said, if you follow along with me, you're going to create an awesome Sonic, and one that is really well coloured in as well. So yeah, really cool. Okay, and here we go, really deep dark blue down here. Lovely jubbly. All right, there we go. This one's quite a quick one, so we don't have to cut the camera, guys. And then one up here, there we go. Just get really, really deep into that. All right. Nice, get really deep, really dark. And that's that one done there. Okay, brilliant. All right then, so after the head, I think we're going to move on to the body now. We'll create some random blobs, again, to be the shaded areas, and we will go from there. So let's say, moving on to that body then, we will we'll obviously have to, prevent it going over the tummy there and then follow it through here. So I think a deep dark area there, almost like the head is casting a shadow along his body, which I think will work really well. And then maybe we'll kind of like have a wibbly wobbly one. Again, obviously missing the tummy there, maybe just here. And why not, as we're on the legs, I think we'll have like a wibbly wobbly one here and a wibbly wobbly line here. And again, I'll be colouring this bit in dark and that bit in dark there. All right then, so I'll start you off, guys. We'll go dark on those legs. There we go, pressing really hard into that paper to create that lovely shadow effect. Okay. Sorry if the camera is wobbling, guys. I do need to get better at that. I think I will stop putting the camera on the table that I'm actually drawing on. You know me, guys, first time YouTuber. We're living and learning. All right, we take small steps and we learn. Okay, so I'm gonna cut the camera, shall I say, and do these little bits here. All right then, guys, so that is the body area there. Got those lovely shaded bits. Fantastic. I think we need to just add a little bit around the head now, so that's what we're gonna do. I think we should feed a line in maybe just here, swoop it all the way down, and then just cuts in behind his back there. And again, we can press really, really hard just to create a shadow effect around his head, which I think will work really nicely. All right, just get that in there. Brilliant, there we go. Not looking too shabby at all. All right then. Okay, so that's looking pretty cool. I'm really happy with how that shading has come along. What I'm going to do now, guys, is colour in the whole of Sonic. And that's exactly what I want you to do now. You don't have to add any extras. You don't have to press hard here or there. Now we've got that shaded bit. All we need to do now is actually colour Sonic himself, okay? And that is just a steady blue, trying to keep the same shade throughout. Keep avoiding his eyes, his mouth and his tummy, also the legs, because they are obviously different colours, and we'll get to that stage when we get there. But I apologise, guys. I was like, yeah, blues, purples, reds for the shoes. We obviously need that peachy colour for his tummy there, his face and his arms and stuff like that. So we will need some pinks and a peach, that kind of vibe to add those colours, all right? So obviously pause the video, grab your extras that you need and come back. But like I said, we're gonna just now complete the blue, all right? So we need probably a pink, an orange and a yellow to create that kind of skin effect. So I think we're going to actually do our shading in yellow. We're actually going to make the darker shades in yellow and then kind of shade over everything in these orange and pinky colours. All right, so we'll start off with the tummy. Okay, and we had that blue already just getting nice and dark around the top part of his body there. So we're just going to continue that and match that up there, okay? Very similarly, we're just going to maybe do a little bit of a darker feature here, and then maybe we could even add it up to the top there a little bit as well, okay? And then just keep the rest of the tummy nice and light there, okay? And of course, like we have done, we're just going to press really hard, all right, just to create that shaded effect. All right, pressing really deep. Is shaded even a word? I don't know. Let me see, it's the artsy gamer. We like things rough and ready over here. All right, grab your teas and coffees, of course. There we go, brilliant. Okay, lovely jubbly. And as I've got you, before we cut the camera, like I keep saying, we can then move on to the arms a little bit as well. So it was already dark here, so we're just going to continue that feature. And maybe make it nice and dark down here as well, pressing really hard, really firm to create that shade effect. Looking really lovely. Awesome. Okay, and then, yeah, we'll probably go here as well. Make it a little bit darker here, because obviously his body will be in the way, so create a shadow just behind his arm there. There we go, nice. And of course, pressing really hard. Brilliant, okie dokie. And then from there, we'll probably move up to their mouth and his kind of like nose area. So I think we will continue that kind of bean shape around, and then we'll just cut it off there. I think that'll work quite nicely. And again, we will just press nice and hard just to create that shadow and shade effect again. Just pressing really hard there, and again, just behind his nose. Yeah, just to create a really nice dark feature, which will draw the eye into the correct areas. Brilliant. Okie dokie. And that is pretty much all that is needed for this bit. Yes, we've got the ear, but I'm thinking maybe just a pink colour for that. All right, so now what I'm going to do is simply just colour everything else just that little bit lighter, filling that, well, the empty gaps, of course, just filling the empty gaps exactly like we did with the blue, okay? So you're just filling the empty gaps now. You're not pressing any harder. It's almost just like a light scratch across the paper just to create a lighter contrast against the darker colour. Okay, and you're going to do the same on the arm there. All right. Again with the other arm. Like I said, very, very light, because we are going to be going over these colours now in that pink and orange, just to create almost like, yeah, skin shade effect, if that makes sense. All right, and again at the top here. All right. There we go. Doesn't have to be, you know, perfect. As I said, we will be going over this in those other colours. All right then, okay, there we go, guys, there we go. I tell you what, guys, Sonic is definitely taking shape. He's looking badass. All right, look at this. Okay, guys, okay, there we go. Not looking too bad at all. Nice. All right then, so I did say we needed a pink and an orange. We're probably going to go over the first stage in orange. Sorry. Pink, guys, pink. First time YouTuber. Okay, so here we go. Now we're just pretty much running the pencil over everything that we've just done, okay? Not pressing any harder or anything like that. We are simply just running the pencil across what we've just done. Okay, and that's going to be the same across the body, the arms, and the face. Okay. Lovely stuff. And now, guys, I might cut the video just so you're not waiting here all day. All right. Okay, then, guys, here we go. So I just went over those lighter colours in that orange and pink, which works really well. It's given that skin tone effect. And now we're going to move on to the shoes, applying the same technique as what we did at the top. So going really, really dark, creating some blobs, pressing really hard to create a nice shade. And then we're just going to go over it lightly to just fill out the whole shoe. So here we go. I think we need to just get it nice and dark around the bottom, I believe, because that's where the light is not getting. Yeah, there we go. And I'm obviously going to be pressing hard at the bottom part and then leaving the top part to be nice and bright and light. Okay, so there we go. Just pressing that in there. There we go. Nice. All right, guys. I think we were making a pretty good Sonic, if you ask me. Yeah, not looking too shabby. Of course, pressing quite hard just to get that really deep dark red. Yeah, baby, let's go. All right, and then now we've done that, just colouring in the rest of the shoe in that lighter red, so we're not pressing too hard at all. Yeah, all right, sweet. We are onto something now. There we go. Brilliant. And then there we go, just getting the rest of the shoe there, and bam! All right, guys, oh my God. Okay, here we go. So that is our Sonic colored in, baby. There we go. How beautiful does he look? Really, really cool. If you manage to follow along, your Sonic is going to look so badass. So yeah, well done to those that have followed along. If you now want to add some of the felt tips, then yeah, that is the next stage. So follow along with me. All right, so we're definitely gonna, I think, then revert back to the blue, as that's where we started. And we want to get a thin blue tip. You know me, we go around the whole of the character, just in the inside bits, okay, working against that black line, all right, to really make your character pop. And I always do this with all of my art, because I tell you what, it just makes the character stand out so much more than if it was just left of the colouring pencils. All right, so you're going to go around the whole body now, just running that blue tip anywhere where a black line meets any blue colouring pencil. All right, and that is what I'm going to do now, guys. I'm gonna stop the video, do all of Sonic, and then you can see what he looks like once he is done. Okay. All right then, guys. So what I've done, got the thinner blue tip, gone around the whole of the outside of Sonic, just cutting in the black. All right. So that is what I've done, and that's what really makes him stand out from the paper. Now I'm going to use my thick tip, okay? And what I'm going to do now is I find those shaded blobs that we did earlier, and I just do a smaller blob inside. So I'll show you what I mean. This is using the thicker tip. So I find that shade, and then I cut in just in between, making a smaller blob, but following that same outline, and then I colour it in, okay? Just like that. You might want to protrude some of the features out a little bit more if you want to. That's exactly what I'm going to do now. So again, you don't always go quite up to the edge of it. You just make a similar pattern, but just inside it. Okay? If you can see what I've just done there. And again here, I don't really go all the way out to the edge. It's the same blob, but just a bit of a smaller one inside it. Okay? I did do some features up here as well, which I'll quickly add. Maybe just a little bit of a mark there, just to add a little bit of character. Okay. And then again here, is just around here, and a few little highlights that I did. Nice, all right. And then this one here that we did earlier. Lovely. And then around that ear there. Nice. Obviously that body bit where we went. So I think just cutting through up here will be nice. Obviously don't complete it all. Okay. Just this bit round here. Lovely. And then the little bits around the legs. Oh, wow. Okay, this is looking cool. There's that little bit in there as well. Whoo! Okay, guys, I like this. And then you can just add a few little bits and bobs here and there just to really get it going. So after that, you might want to then maybe just follow the lines around. Only just little bits here and there, you know, just to get a little bit of character, which I think will work really well. And I think a little swoop needs to come in here as well. Oh yes, guys, really nice. This was a little bit of a dark bit as well that we missed. Yeah, really lovely. Wow, okay, awesome. Wow, brilliant. That's all that we need to do for the blue. We will move on to the body and mouth now. So ideally, we need an orange for this, okay? I think an orange will work best. And again, we're just gonna go around the, well, kind of like the inner parts, just where the black line meets the color. That's what we're gonna do first. And then we'll just add all these like really cool highlights just to make him pop. Okay, so ideally you want a kind of like a thin tip, but I don't think I've got my thin tip orange, but if you press really lightly, you can still kind of apply the same effect with a thicker one, but I would advise going for that thinner tip. Okay, and again, we're just going to go around the outside, and if you just press very, very lightly, you can still get the same effect. Okay, just going to come around the inner part where the black meets the colour. Again, just to make your pencil colours really stand out and pop. Okay, and of course I'm going to do the same for that, for all of those kind of like skin tone features. All right then, guys, so yeah, I went round those inner parts with that orange just to make it really stand out. I probably won't do any darker features on the skin tone because I think the blue is just enough. But I did go around the shoes in that red, and now I think we will do a little bit of a darker tone on those shoes with that thicker tip. So that's what we're going to do now. And again, exactly the same technique. We just get a little bit of that darker red that we did, and we just follow the same shape around with that thicker tip, but not going all the way to the edge of that shade, if that makes sense. And there we go. Hey, there we go, guys. Wow. So there we have it. There is our beautiful Sonic from start to finish. Thank you so much for giving this a go and yeah, creating this absolute bad boy. Oh, let's just hold this up to the camera a little bit closer so everyone can have a little look. And if you followed along, you would have been able to, yeah, create your own retro Sonic. How amazing is that? Well done, guys. I will see you over in the studio, which will be back at my own house. Woo! Okay, we are back. So fantastic. I'm so pleased we have finished that amazing Sonic. I'm really happy how it's all come out, and like I said, I've been dying to do a Sonic piece, so there we go. We'll have a closer look at that towards the end of the video. But just a little added extra, guys, I forgot to show you this earlier, included with this retro magazine was a little demo disc. So we're gonna open that now. Come on, guys, we're gonna have a little cheeky look at this before we end the video. Come on, let's go. So just opening this here, lovely bubble wrap. So well done, Retro Hub, for making sure this is lovely and protected. We like that. Okay, oh, bit firm. Oh yeah, okay. And I have got quite a few demo discs now that have been included with my magazine, so maybe we'll have to do you know, a little series of that, do you know what I'm saying? But here we go, this is cool. Okay, a bit of sticker residue there, but we can sort that out. But awesome, look at that. That's crazy. Yeah, we've got a really lovely demo disc here of Lara Croft. Tomb Raider 3, how amazing is that? So yeah, we'll definitely have to take a deep dive when we do our retro magazine look at for sure. Yeah, and here we go. Wow, just some lovely screenshots there that we'll take a deeper dive in later on next week. But just hands down, how cool is that, guys? So yeah, wow, just thought I'll share you that towards the end of the video there. Whoo! All right, okay then, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me this week. I've had an absolute blast. We're over 70 subs now, so we are flying high. Thank you so much for the support, and I just can't wait to continue providing some awesome videos for you guys. So thank you so much. That is me. That is the Artsy Gamer. Over and out.